Let's dive right in and take a look at a little piece of the 4600 standard. This is clause 12.3.1, which has to do with verification and validation of faults related just to the design phase. There are other clauses for other design phases. This one says V&V shall provide acceptable coverage of safety-related faults associated with the design phase. So that means your safety case has to talk about faults related to the design and how you're going to verify and validate that they are not existent or that they've been mitigated in some way. Within each clause are a number of prompt elements organized by category. In this case, we're looking at the mandatory prompt elements for this clause. So every bullet item here is interpreted within the scope of the overlying clause. So that means A, 12.3.1.1a is for safety-related faults and for V&V related to the design phase, think about systematic design defects. It doesn't tell you what to do, it tells you your safety case has to have somehow addressed the topic of systematic design defects within that clause. Jumping down to E, it also means that there might be design defects having to do with the identification description of the intended ODD. In other words, your description of the ODD might be incorrect. All these are mandatory. That means they have to be addressed in your safety case. It does not mean you need a technical mitigation. It just means the safety case has to say risks and hazards introduced by these are mitigated either because they can't happen, or we have a technical measure, or we have a non-technical measure. Moving on, every clause also has a required section. These are almost mandatory. What that means is if they apply to your system, you have to cover them in your safety case, but there are some systems which they might not apply. So for example, 12.3.1.2a, maintenance procedure definitions, it's conceivable that a very simple system might not have any maintenance. It might be built and it might run until end of life with absolutely no maintenance whatsoever. If that's the case, you can say we're going to deviate from this prompt element A. In other words, we're not going to do it because there is no maintenance for our system, and that's okay. So you do not have to address prompt elements that don't apply to you, but you do have to write down if it's required, does not apply to me, here's why. 12.3.1.3 is highly recommended. In this case, there aren't any. It's a placeholder for future versions of the standard. Highly recommended are things that you really ought to seriously consider, but if you decide it doesn't apply to you, that's okay, and you might just say, well, we're not doing this because we have another way, or we have some non-trivial reasons why this doesn't make sense for us, and if that's true, you don't have to do it. Subsection 4 is recommended. Recommended are even less stringent. Recommended are just good ideas. You don't have to address them in your safety case, but they're there to document things that might be useful to some teams. Finally, every clause has a conformance section, which is how the assessor takes a look and checks conformance. In this case, inspection of design and V&V evidence. So the idea is that all the clauses have a conformance section, and the point of this standard is to be as concrete as possible in how to assess to make sure you conformed.